This is Charlie Mato-Toyela with another How to Play and How to Make the Native American Flute video series. This video series is the beginning of more advanced playing techniques, and we're going to focus on playing the flute, of course, but different ways to play it and playing it with different instruments and so on and so forth. And today I just wanted to get you kind of accustomed to the idea that that's what we're going to be doing. If you have any questions or comments or want to let us know of a specific flute detail that you would like to see focused on or emphasized in one of our upcoming videos, feel free to leave a comment. We like to hear those, and certainly like to hear your feedback as well. So do that. Please subscribe to our channel for our upcoming videos as well, and learn more about different flutes. The flute we're going to be using today is one of my favorites. I've recorded a lot of music with this flute here. This is a 6-hole traditional Plains Indian flute. We've spoke about the 6-hole flute in some of our other videos as well, and this one is made out of elderberry. It's one of my favorite flutes. It's a tiny flute, or for people who are interested in keys and playing with other instruments, it is in the key of A minor. It is a pentatonic A minor scale, of course. And what I'm going to show you today is just some simple techniques that you can use to begin and end the way that you flow through the flute, the sounds that you make through it, the way you play it. So just thinking of different beginning and ending techniques, if you see the way I take my fingers off and put them back on, you need to make sure that you feel comfortable. And like I said, these are advanced techniques, so you have to feel comfortable knowing exactly where your fingers are and knowing when and how you can take them off and get them back on at the right time and everything to make the timing play properly. But this first technique is one that I like to use a lot. It's kind of the way that I begin some of my frames of music. So if you'll keep an eye, I'll play it fast first, and then I'll play it in kind of slow motion and show you what exactly it is I'm doing a little bit of time here. And you see, that sounds like a whole song playing by itself, but all I'm trying to do is express to you this one little technique I use, where I go bum, da, 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 and that's like the slow motion version. So let's watch it one more time. Or, and see, it's just a step. It's a step technique you can use. And of course you can add different steps and take things away. I mean, that's what this is all about. Basically Native American flute is improvisation. Even if you're playing with other instruments, we're not sitting here reading Mary Had a Little Lamb. So if you take a look, watch my fingers. I'll play this little frame really slowly for us so you can see how it kind of meshes together. And you hear that little bit of vibrato in the end. I kind of habitually put that on everything. Sometimes at the beginning, sometimes at the end. But whenever I'm playing a long, fluid note, that's when I like to add a little bit of vibrato sometimes, unless I'm emphasizing it by not playing vibrato. So vibrato is just where you go, maybe kind of controlling with your lungs, where you're basically making a vibration sound. But this frame, once again, and this is slow motion. So what you'll do is you'll sit at home and practice this kind of thing, and my gosh, after practicing it time and time again, these kind of things kind of play themselves. You'll start wondering, did I just play that or did I play something else? But that's just one technique. So basically all holes covered, and then I'm letting the bottom 3 off, and this will work on a 5-hole or my traditional 6-hole flutes, or even the 6-hole flute that you get the more modern version. If you just pretend that that there's a hole in here somewhere, I just play it like you normally would. So it's a matter of knowing which notes to play fast and which notes to play slow. So that's one good technique there. And here we're going to go and do another style. This other technique is a more slow, fluid movement that we're going to do. And this is a type of roll. We discussed this briefly in some of our more beginning and basic flute videos, but this roll is something you can use time and time again. I use it, once again, just without even thinking. It happens automatically. And you see I put that little vibrato in the end. Very simple technique to use, but can be made to do many, many things. So let's see what else we can do with a simple roll, using maybe different fingerings or maybe different positions. Let's see what happens. So you can use it at the beginning of a song, in the middle of the song, and at the end of a song. You can use it to start your new frame so that people know, hey, listen, he's changing things up a little bit, or she's changing things up a little bit. They really, the listener catches on to these little nuances. Even though you're doing them subtly here, it makes a whole statement to someone that's listening to your music. It's the difference between them clapping and crying and weeping when they're listening to you. And hopefully weeping in a good way. But anyway, so like I said, so that's the roll technique that we can use. So you can roll any fingering on your flute. You can roll all the notes if you want to. It might be more difficult to roll a jump octave note, but it certainly can be done. So that's another fine technique. And certainly, you know, there are many, many great things that we can do with this flute that don't even require you move your fingers. I know when I was in high school, and we were playing songs on a horn, for example. You know, I played in high school. I played the trombone and the baritone and the French horn and the trumpet. And there are a lot of songs that you can play on a horn without using any fingerings, without changing the key. The bugle call song, I think, is one of my favorites, and of course taps you can play without changing the fingerings. The flute is no different. I mean, really, you can play a number of different sounds without changing your fingerings at all. So let's see what we can do. Now that's a more pronounced vibrato. Now it's less subtle than the others, but it has a purpose, and certainly, you know, it's something you can do. But that first part of the song that I was playing, so you start off by attacking something very aggressively, like that, and then you work your way into the vibrato. And you know, I kept the vibrato, like I said, a little bit more pronounced, and the attack in the vibrato kind of, I guess they were a little more melded together, less contrasting from one another. So that's one thing you can do. Here's something else you can do too, and it's a jumping octave technique. So all of your flutes, doesn't matter what type, once again, these techniques will work on all of them. This jump octave technique is one that you'll hear me and a lot of people use a lot, often in our recordings. I mean, I think most of my albums I've ever played, I've used this technique at least a dozen times. This technique requires you to play the low note and then play its counterpart by blowing fast through the flute. So this is ooh, and then is the ooh. Now if you think about that, you think, well, that sounds like a sound that I wouldn't want to be playing on the flute, or maybe that's the sound I played when I first started the flute, when I first picked it up. But actually, a lot of these techniques mimic the sounds of birds. You've probably been hearing the birds singing in the background because they do come out and visit me quite a bit when we're playing and making flutes out here in the shop. That sound is one that mimics birds, mimics a lot of different types of birds, everything from a goose to a duck to many of my little bird friends, which are the cardinals and the mockingbirds that fly around here, and there's a few little tufted titmouses, I think, that live around here as well. But you know, those kind of techniques are things that are mocking the sounds of the animals, and probably played thousands of years ago. So once again, we went over 3 different techniques today. Simple, I know. The next couple of videos we're going to make are going to be playing with different instruments and using some different intonations and finding different ways to play different notes. And of course, like I said, that kind of covered one of those techniques just now. You play the bottom note and then play fast, plays the top note, which is the same as. Usually all holes covered and all holes uncovered on most flutes. At least the bottom 5 holes uncovered on the 6-hole flute that's traditionally made, will actually play the octave of the bottom note. So, you have a way to play that without changing your fingerings. It might be a little bit more convenient in some cases, and something, like I say, that I've used a great deal. So in any case, this is Charlie Mato-Toyela signing off for how to play and how to make Native American flute video series. Please leave us a comment, positive I hope, and subscribe if you will, to see more of our upcoming How to Play the Flute video series. Like I said, you'll definitely be impressed with these next couple of videos in this line. I know that they're something we've gotten a lot of requests for, and definitely is something I enjoy doing. So, TTFN, and don't forget to check out our website, bluebeararts.com, and check us out on Facebook under Blue Bear Arts. So take care, thanks again, and we'll see you soon.